Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of work on perspective. Perspective gives space to whatever you're drawing, and so it allows it to create the illusion of being real within 3D space. So I have my x-axis and my y-axis, just like math class, and this is a very basic perspective for this video. There's like a bunch of different layers. There's a bunch of layers you can add on it to make it more dynamic, but we are going to stick with straight up definition of space right now. And so what I'm doing with this is this will be my vanishing point. And if you're not familiar with that term, I will explain it in just a moment by drawing. I do a lot better explaining a lot of things, even like political situations. I do a lot better drawing it out than saying it. Alright, that's good enough for now. And let's see, where'd my little guy go? Again, you don't need this, it's just like a little protractor guy. But I use it to mark out degrees. For me, 30 is a good one, so I go every 30 degrees, 10, 20, 30, mark it. 40, 50, 60, mark it. 70, 80, 90, mark it. Actually, I can just do that. So what that does is give me more cues and more points to base my perspective on. And so, if you look at like any photo or, you know, a movie or anything like that, you'll always be able to see like the last thing you can see is either in the distance, whether it's like a very far car, and then where the ground turns to sky is the vanishing point. So that's what's represented by this intersection. And so to get these points, I'm just taking my degree marks and drawing them through the middle. So that is what I'm going to be working with. It's pretty much a spider web. And so, if this is, we're going to say, it's all going to be in the sky. This is the vanishing point, so this will be in the sky. We're going to have the vanishing point within the sky, and my ground level I'm going to put right here. And so, an easy way to look at perspective is, if you have a shape that you can pretty much decide, like, okay, this cloud is this big, what perspective allows you to do is say, okay, well, this cloud starts with this line, goes with this line. If I'm going to do a cloud here, then it's going to be much smaller. And so the similar shape within that space, if it's much smaller, your brain automatically assumes that it's the same thing but far away. So that's how you create that illusion. I know this isn't very convincing because it's a thumbprint, but you'll see in a few minutes. I'm going to do the same thing with structure. So right here, you know what? Okay. So I'm going to put a building here. And we'll say it's floating on a cliff. Okay, so just for the basics, I'm going to make this a very basic rectangular structure. Okay, that's good enough for this point. And so, excuse me, we're going to follow the same process as we did the cloud. So, if this is the top at this point, and this is the bottom at this point, what we can do is, okay, I want one right here. And so all this is you match this line up and this line up with where your new building's vertical axis is going to be. And then you just kind of compare, like, okay, the tallest point, this little steeple, it ends right here, so it'll end right here. I made it a little too wide, but And so, hopefully, if I'm doing this correctly, you can see that this creates the illusion that this building is closer to the viewer because it is a similar shape, but it is much further away, or much smaller, therefore further away. And so at this point, I am going to pause it and time-lapse the rest of it. Hopefully, it'll be slow enough that it'll still make sense for everyone. And feel free to comment if you think I'm going too fast or anything like that. This is a new thing for both of us, so let's go for it. Alright. I wanted to pause the time lapse to just point something out, but one thing that I absolutely love about cliffs and clouds and things that are natural is that you can really they can be any shape. To be direct Bob Ross quote. That's why he loves clouds so much. You can put any cloud anywhere and it's fine. But I went to paint a line and my brush skipped and I ended up with this extra bulge in my castle that I didn't know what to do with, and it just happened to provide me a perfect little way to make an arch. And I know that seems like nothing, like, oh, good job, you connected two shapes, but I really suggest working with stuff where the shape doesn't matter, because my friends who draw as a hobby, one of their biggest challenges is that they feel like, they can't create what's in their brain yet, and that takes a long time. But what this does is remove that pressure. Like, if you plan to do a stone one way and it goes wrong, it doesn't matter. You make the stone work. It's a lot easier, and clouds are the same way. So I highly recommend working with things like water, plants, clouds, stone, fire. It's just easier for you, and it kind of allows you to get lost because you're literally creating a world, and there's nothing quite like it. Okay, I'm gonna speed up now.